the Foundry has been involved in so many medtech ventures so far. I wrote about one this week called Fire One. Can you tell us about the work of the Foundry, how it came into being?
Sure. So prior to forming the Foundry, myself and my partners had been in the medical device startup world for 10 or 15 years each, and had seen companies from the earliest stages through commercialization, acquisition, and so on, and felt like if we could pick better ideas from the start and structure the companies right and bring the right investors in, put together ideal teams, we'd have a better odds of success. So we formed the Foundry actually in 1998. So we're coming up on our 16th anniversary, and it's been a great run.
And the thing about the work of the Foundry, I mean, the area you target, I mean, it's very different to the general ICT software world. MedTech takes a longer time to develop these products. I mean, we just spoke to one guy about FDA approval, all that kind of stuff. In terms of the medtech scene in Ireland, you know, I was looking at some of the figures in terms of the amount of stuff that's produced here, both from multinationals and local companies. How would you sum up the scale of the industry here in Ireland, and why few people on the ground really know much about it?
Well, it's a huge sector of the Irish economy, actually. It started, as you probably know, 35 years ago when C.R. Bard came over and put a manufacturing plant here. And since then, every other multinational has followed. And so there's a huge base of manufacturing in several sectors of the medical device industry here. And that has formed a real base of knowledge, of talent, of involvement with the medical device industry. And now we're seeing a real flowering of that as there have been a number of initiatives, including by the government, to take the next step and have Ireland create its own startups, going after new ideas and adding that innovation and control right here. So it's really an exciting time, as you can see from this meeting with 350 people attending. It's never been more vibrant than now.
And the caliber of executive, I mean, some of the ones I would have originally associated with MedTech in Ireland would have been people who would have been ex-digital and who came out there in the 90s. But there's a whole other generation as well of guys. We talked to Brian from Exbolt, who's a former orthopedic surgeon, and I'm sure there's other guys who've cut their teeth in manufacturing and engineering. What is the caliber of the Irish MedTech entrepreneur like?
Well, as I mentioned, there's an incredible base of expertise in manufacturing, R&D activities, operations, quality, less involvement in marketing and sales, as Ireland hasn't been a huge base of operations for those sorts of things, but it's forming. And as we formed Fire One here in Ireland, we have taken a couple of years to go out and meet a ton of people, have been really impressed with the broad scope of skills and knowledge and abilities and experience. And we were absolutely thrilled to bring in Conor Hanley, John Britton, and Fiachra Sweeney to Fire One. As you know, Conor had previously started his own startup here, Biancamed, which he sold to ResMed, a very nice outcome, and remained with ResMed as a senior VP for many years. John Britton working alongside him in a variety of roles there, and Fiachra with experience in a number of companies, most notably several years leading many R&D projects for Medtronic in Galway. So I mean, you know, as somebody said the other day, we're here for the talent, not for the taxes, because there is a ton of talent here.
And you mentioned there sales and marketing has been maybe an impasse at the moment, or you know, something that's been worked out. How confident are you that will be worked out in time, and that, you know, we will suddenly maybe one day see Irish medtech companies be household brand names?
Well, I mean, Covidien was an Irish company. It's a household name, now part of Medtronic, but still you see that name quite a lot. There are a number of companies that you know, maybe people don't realize are Irish, but I think that the activity that we see at this meeting here, all of the startups that are happening, it will happen. It's a natural progression. It's early days now. They're going through the development, but they are going to get to commercialization, and we'll start to see those names out there, across Europe, across the world.